Here's the biggest thing about keeping the promises that you told yourself you're going to do is it's about the integrity, right? As soon as you lose integrity with yourself, you've lost integrity with everybody. Okay. So, meaning that, if you're not going to do what you said you were going to do, like nobody else is going to believe that you are going to do what you said you were going to do. Okay. Because especially when you speak it into existence. Like if you're speaking your goals into existence, which I think you should do, and it's a good accountability tactic as well. You'll see Angelo actually do that in our Voxer group, where he's like, "Hey, accountability, I'm doing this week," and so that way he knows that other people actually saw him doing it. So that's a huge little psychological trick you can do for yourself. But what happens when you don't actually keep that promise that you made to yourself? Like, hey, this week I'm gonna meal prep all my food. This week I'm gonna work out 3 or 4 times per week. Is you start having those small mini losses every time, okay? And those add up to where you're going to just give up on yourself because you don't take yourself serious. You lost integrity with yourself. So you sit there and tell yourself, I'm gonna do this, I want to do this, whatever, and then you don't actually fulfill on that promise to yourself, you're just giving yourself those mini losses that are going to equal up to a big loss, right? When the opposite is true too, when you tell yourself, "Hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this week, whatever," and you actually follow through on what you said you were going to do, then you start gaining integrity with yourself and you start proving to yourself that you are a man or woman of your word and that you are going to follow through on it. And here's the thing is that like we'll keep promises to other people no problem because we don't want them thinking bad about us, right? But it's okay to not keep promises to ourselves because it's okay like what we think of ourselves, right? That's essentially what we're telling ourselves. And that's the worst person. Like, you need to be okay with yourself first before anybody else. Like, screw what everybody else thinks of you. Like, if you don't think highly of yourself, like, you already lost. So, you need to get to the point where you think very, very, very highly of yourself before other people are going to think very, very highly of you as well. Okay. And just because you always follow through on the promises you gave other people, but you're failing to follow through on the promises you gave to yourself, like that doesn't make it okay because you still know, even though that other person doesn't know because you said you were gonna do. Hey, Mindy, what's up? Thanks for coming in. Awesome, you're walking nice. That girl's after it. So hashtag live in the comments, Mindy. Appreciate that. Anyways, you guys have to make sure that if you're telling yourself something, it's like the parent that doesn't follow through on what they tell their kids, right? And we've all seen those kind of parents. Maybe you're one of those parents, and that's okay. Like, it's not my job to judge you, and it's not my job to make you try to feel bad about parenting skills or whatever. And these are all skills. These are all life skills, guys. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, being a parent and being a good spouse, being good in your fitness, in your job, these are all life skills that you need to develop over time, right? Um, but like if you're one of those parents that like, hey, I told you not to do that. Hey, if you do that again, I'm gonna do this, and you never follow through, those kids are not gonna take you serious. And one person I can tell you from my experience is my sister does that with her kids. So there's a lot of underlying things going on there with my sister that I'm not gonna get into, but like her kids don't respect her essentially because she threatens those things and she never follows through on them. So they run all over her. But what's crazy is like her kids won't do that to other people. So if I tell them, hey, stop doing that, whatever, they'll actually listen to me because they see me as an authority figure, where they don't see my sister as an authority figure, or they know essentially she's full of shit and she's not going to do what she says she's going to do. Right. And the reason that I'm talking about that is because, like, you're essentially telling yourself you're full of shit and you're not going to follow through on what you said you were going to do when you break those promises to yourself. So again, that's like the worst thing you can do. So if you tell yourself you're going to do something and you make a commitment to yourself, you need to follow through on that plan, whether it's going great, whether it's going shitty, whether it's you don't feel good, like whatever it is, you got to follow through, because you're going to prove to yourself that you are going to be a lot more capable of the things that you didn't think you were capable of. So, and you have a coach to do that for you as well too. And that coach is that, acting as that second person to make sure that you are following through. But at the end of the day, you're the most important person to keep the promise to. So you have to remember that like nobody, including yourself, is going to take you serious if you don't keep those promises to yourself. Because every time you break a promise or you don't follow through on what you're going to do, you're creating those small losses for yourself. And every time you lose, you take a piece away from yourself, right? Every time you win, you gain a piece. So you got to get those small wins every single day to where a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, you're sitting in a good place because you committed and you followed through on that promise that you gave yourself. So, what's up, Angelo? Angelo's on here too. Minnie already did 3.74 miles so far and still going. Freaking rock stars, dude. Love you guys. Cool. So I hope you guys got a lot out of that. Just remember that you are the most important person, as far as who you think you are, the beliefs that you're telling yourself every single day, whether they're negative, whether they're positive. The average person has, 20,000 thoughts a day and 80% of them are negative, guys. So, think about how hard that is to be positive all the time. And we're psychologically made to be like this because we need to highlight the dangers in our lives, right? And the dangers in our lives back in the day were like, yeah, there's a bear over there, like that's a negative thing that needs to be at the front of my attention. We don't have those type of dangers in our lives anymore, but like our brain hasn't changed, our brain hasn't evolved to get past that. So everything that's negative, it's highlighted, right? So you have to actively find ways to be positive, find thoughts, find sayings to reaffirm yourself and be positive, because it's being negative is the easy thing to do. Like that's what most people do. So you have to rewire your brain that way, guys, and that takes a long time. Julie, what's up? All right, got a good little crew on here, guys. Appreciate you being on here. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have anything to add to that, definitely comment in the boxes. I love getting your feedback too. You guys are great at helping each other out. So, the biggest thing is just how you feel about yourself is how other people are going to see you. So if you feel like you're great and you're awesome, people are going to think that too. If you feel like you're, not worth a shit, people are going to think that too. So, change that mindset. Your body's going to follow. That's the biggest thing. That's why I do these lives, is I want you guys to make sure that your mindsets are in the right place, because this is so much mindset, guys, that you don't even aware of, and your body's not going to follow with the right mindset.